Look at this. We got a runner.
Watch your language. The YouTubers just joined. They have no idea what's going on.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man.
You got to be kidding me. What a way to start the show today. Thank you, Matthew.
Oh, we got him?
He got him.
Nice.
I think he got him, or he's lying to me.
Good job. Now that would be something. Good job with the no 4-letter words. Good job.
Holy, you would have freaked out.
Oh, yeah, I don't do well with that. My father was petrified of bugs as I was growing up because of his time in Nam. Like, that sounds like a joke. It sounds like
a Big Lebowski joke.
It is.
Yeah.
He said, Tom, I never had problems with bugs in my life. Then I got to Vietnam, and he said there was once a spider that was the size of his foot, and he was on patrol in a tower, night watch.
Yeah, no.
And he and his buddy, they saw it, and so one of them hit it with the butt of their rifle, killed it, and it started moving again. He's like, nope, this
didn't kill it.
He's like, the jungle is no place if you don't like bugs.
Yeah, man. No. I've made those jokes before, and I'm not to belittle anybody's service in Vietnam, which is a big deal, and we can relate to that with family members, as we've talked about in the past. But what I would say to you, Tom, is that I have said the same thing. That the idea of being shot at, that's awful. Everybody knows inherently that's a terrible thing. But then, man, jungles, no. Weird things out there, hissing giant bird-eating spiders, for example. Right. No.
So the house I grew up in Clearwater was around a whole bunch of trees. So we had bugs galore in the home. My dad didn't like them. I was raised in a setting where the big man did not like the little bugs, so I don't do well with them either. That's what was handed down to me.
All right, so let me get everybody in line with what the hell is going on. No, we did not begin the show in an effort to talk about bugs and our fear of them, but rather, as I was, for the YouTube audience, as I was getting ready to say good afternoon and welcome, a massive roach ran right across my keyboard that sits directly in front of me here for the computer. And you saw it. Did you see it? It was a big one.
No.
He saw it.
Yeah.
Director Matthew knows. It was big. It wasn't some little guy that you could just flick away. It was a monster.
He's much tougher about these things, and even the look in his face, which was, that was a problem.
Roach. Yeah, Matthew lived out there in the country for a long time. He's seen a lot of stuff.
He's been around.
He's seen some things, So anyhow, I was trying to keep it together all the while knowing it's my cue. I got to come in here. You've hit the music. We're at the point where I say welcome. I'm excited to be here. That I can say. I'm Jeff. That is Tom. That's Director Matthew. Thanks to all of you listening. What a busy and fun weekend. The draft was awesome in a lot of ways. And what transpired there is interesting. The draft rating was the lowest it's been in a long time. I think I know the reason for that. No quarterbacks. Nobody cares about the quarterbacks, and that's always the sexiest position on the field. Of course, if we bring it back home locally here, if you're watching on Warchant TV, make sure you like and subscribe, and thanks for doing so. I think, again, you saw Ira's column on warchant.com, and certainly Seminole Nation has been talking about this very thing for some time. The draft. You may remember this, Tom. So years and years ago, prior to Coach Fisher getting here and the uptick in drafting high-quality players and talent that project down the line to be in the NFL, we talked and, obviously noted the lost decade, the end of Bowden's career. And one of the things that I lamented as that was happening was we went from year in and year out a bevy of Florida State players that would be draft eligible and highly thought of going into the draft parties that we were having all those years ago. And so there was a good chance you were going to see, 2 or 3, first rounders, certainly at least 1, maybe 2, second rounders, 2 and 3 guys. And we used to do this thing on warchant.com where we would project what round for each of the players. And we made a contest out of it. And you can go back and find those. One year I won it. Another year somebody else did. I can't remember. But I used to take great pride and be like, listen, our fan base, all fan bases, tend to overblow the relative skill set or projected talent to the next level of their favorite football team's players. So if you're an Alabama fan, you do it. If you're a Georgia fan, you do it. If you're a Clemson fan, you do it. If you're a Florida State, if you're a fan, you do it. If your team's got 5-7 guys they say are going to go in the draft, if you ask diehard fans, they always have those guys typically, unless it's a slam dunk and everybody knows, they'll have those guys rated in their own straw poll top 10 when they're projected to go 25th. They'll have them, second round when they're projected to go early third, that kind of thing. So you could always count on diehard fans elevating where they think their favorite players are going to go and in what spot, right? Now think about that discussion. Think about having to differentiate between player A, player B, player C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Imagine that. And then falling off a cliff and hoping you had a player or two taken. Then having Jimbo come in, seeing the uptick, huge uptick in talent in a relatively short period of time, to the point where you thought there's a good chance they're going to have multiple first rounders, to the point where they're going to have the first pick in the draft, to the point where you could go, I don't know, Florida State in the next 2 years could have 22 guys taken to the league in some capacity, either drafted or being offered an undrafted free agent contract, something along those lines. To where we are now, where you're like, yeah, we got a guy, but he's not really even our guy. Now, we adopted him, loved him, and will forever love him and appreciate what he did. But Jermaine Johnson certainly wasn't recruited by Florida State, wasn't a guy that was brought in and developed over time to where his final season becomes what we just witnessed, where he's the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, and he goes in the first round. I mean, we get some credit for it. Certainly he was wearing the spear. We saw it, the garnet and gold on Saturdays, and we'll forever hold him on high for doing so. But it's not like it was, is my point. And so it's hard for me when I watch the draft as a diehard Nole, like just stepping away, removing all objectivity to some degree, and just watching what took place and realizing, man, I know, because I talk about it all the time, that there's a dearth of talent here, that we're not. And as somebody who's been privileged enough to have begun covering this team, let alone going to games all the way back into the early 80s, but to be in this chosen profession, to be able to have gone out to practices when Bowden was there and watch those full contact scrimmages and practices unencumbered all the way through the late 90s into the 2000s, and having watched all of these teams through the ages, the ones that sat atop the college football world and those that fell on hard times, I have a way in which to compare, when you're standing on a sideline, what an elite level athlete at Florida State's level, that is to say national championship level, looks like, and what they don't. And when we go out there, it's not just me, lots of people, former players, obviously, and anybody else who's been in the media a long time. There's a lot of old heads around here. But it leaves your mouth agape when you go out there sometimes, even now. And you're like, okay. And Ira said something in his piece where I think this is the hard part. You have to tell yourself when you're out there, you, me, everybody, you have to remind yourself of this. And this is multifaceted. So people used to get mad when I'd say, yeah, he's not any good. I know that's not proper English. It's a fun phrase, turn of phrase. Yeah, he's not any good. I would say that about certain guys, right? Yeah, he's not any good. And they'd be like, what? He's a starter in a Power 5 conference who led the team in tackles last year. Like, it's relative, man. It's all relative. Every guy that makes it to the NFL, every guy that makes it to the NBA is elite at playing football, playing basketball, respectively. Now, within that group, are they elite? If you're the 57th ranked golfer in the world, you're truly better than 99 point whatever % of the people who ever pick up a golf club in their life. You are. But you're 57th out there on tour. I'm not thinking much about you. You're not a perennial top 10 guy. You're not going to win the FedEx Cup race or mini tournaments, period. You're a guy who makes a cut. And by the way, relative as it is, if I'm from your hometown and I know you, I'm like, oh my God, my man made the PGA Tour. That's incredible. That's how good that guy is. Compared to John Rahm, you're a bum. So that's how that works. It's all relative, right? All right. When we look out at Florida State's practices and we see guys that have been good players for us, yeah, that's for us. And we've been terrible lately. So what's hard to do when you watch these guys and we see somebody emerge as a better player on this team, what's hard is that you have to say to yourself, well, he may be the best player at this segment group for Florida State. And then you remind yourself, Florida State, who went 5-7 last year. Florida State, who hasn't had winning records and gone to bowls in a handful of years. Florida State, who doesn't compete for the ACC title, the Atlantic title, let alone the conference title. They don't do any of those. So he's our best player. And we've done this a lot with guys. Now, we knew Jermaine was going to get drafted. But again, Jermaine's kind of a hybrid Florida State guy. He's not really a Florida State guy. He is and he isn't. It's hurtful, man. It's painful to say these guys are the best of what we are, and what we are isn't good enough to even have a single player outside of Jermaine Johnson get drafted through 7 rounds of the NFL draft. 7 rounds. Do you know how many guys go in a draft? Go back and look at those totals when they're like, and pick number 141, and we still aren't talking about a Florida State guy capable of getting drafted 5th round, 6th round. You know, it's brutal. And that is the stark reality of where this program has fallen to. I know Texas didn't get anybody drafted. Well, guess what? Texas sucks too. Texas has been terrible for a long time. They're firing coaches left and right, just like us. They're not any good. Now, you can scratch your head and wonder how that's even possible, because I do. I don't know how the hell you could have Texas's resources, traditions, money, and all of that and still not have a player draft. That's crazy to me, but they didn't. And they're an unmitigated disaster. They have been. They're on the come up, so they think, or they're hoping, just like us, just like us. But it's brutal to sit there and watch. And I like the draft just like you do. And we watch a lot of it, probably a lot more of it than we should. I'm watching mid-afternoon on a Saturday, just like, yep, you got me. I'm watching. I'm going to see who the hell this Central Michigan kid is. I want to know. It's hurtful to think that you could go through an entirety of one of those things and have one guy taken, and he was a transfer. It's just, that tells you how far you have to go. Now, that I don't say all of this to say there's no hope. I say it is relative to what we've been an obvious statement of futility, that we have not brought these players in, have not been able to sustain, develop, and produce pro talent. And it reflects in our record and our lack of success. Now, conversely, we look at juggernauts and we think, Georgia, whom we have to recruit against, even though we're not in the same conference, but it's the state right there, had 15 players taken. 15! And you could say 16, because Jermaine Johnson left them to come here. It's insane. 15, that's what you're up against. That's the kind of recruiting juggernaut you've got to compete with. And then when you confront the NIL and transfer portal realities of today, it really is tough not to find yourself crestfallen. It's tough not to find yourself a little bit under the weather when it comes to your football prognosis, because you're thinking, 15? Jesus, man. Alabama and schools like that, not 15, but close, on the regular. And then we start talking about, well, okay, what'd Clemson do each of the last 5 years? Add that total up, and then look at our total. Ooh, that's a toughie.
Pack it up. Time to go home.
So it's just a stark reminder that it is sort of a mountainous climb, a very difficult and arduous task to get back to anything resembling those aforementioned practices that I used to stand on the sidelines for, those teams that we all know and love, those runs of Florida State success that we all are aware of historically. It's a long journey to get back to that when you just got done watching the draft and saw exactly one guy go, and he was a transfer who was here for 1 year. Marcus writes, I met Jermaine Johnson on a plane last night. I thanked him profusely and congratulated him. The good news is he was very kind, thankful, and appreciative. Thanks for the content, fellas. Thank you, Marcus, for the contribution and for your comments. Here's the thing. I know we got to go to break. Woo! Yeah, perfect. Absolutely, that is true of Jermaine Johnson, and I am 100% not at all surprised to hear you say that he was kind and that he was friendly and that he was all those things. Jermaine is awesome. We love Jermaine, and we will cloak him in the garnet and gold forevermore, despite just a 1 year effort, because it was a hell of an effort. And it did a lot to help us get to 5-7. It did a lot to help us get to 5-7. Without him, without Jermaine Johnson, what are you staring at? I mean, you very well are staring at 4-8, 3-9. So he's worth a win. That's his war, at least. So then when you go through the exercise and you say, how much better can Florida State be this year? Remember what you're doing. Remember that you're, in essence, taking a team, because the converse is true, too. You could argue, well, they should have won this game, this game, this game. They could have very well been an 8-win team. All right, if you want to feel better and say that, they could have lost a lot of those wins, too, that they won. All right?
Yeah, the thing you'd say is 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they're not competitive in a lot more games. This past year, they were competitive in a hell of a lot more football games.
Yeah.
And they figured to be, once again, this upcoming season. Win more games, competitive in more games.
It's just a reminder. It'll straighten you up, as they say. It's a reminder of where you got to go and how far you've got to go. That team had one player get drafted and finished 5-7, and we are all expecting that they are going to be appreciably better, as I like to say, this upcoming year. Is that realistic, given how few players they have that are of the caliber of players that even get a look in the NFL over these last 2 seasons, compared to, say, I don't know, Georgia, that has 15 players get drafted? I mean, damn it, man. That's insane. Now, I think Mike Norvell's a good coach. There are other members of this coaching staff that I also think highly of. Some not, but many that I do. And they do show the ability to evaluate. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt McCall and Thomas and guys like that are NFL bound, knock on wood. They stay healthy and continue to develop on the path that they're on. Those guys are going to the league. Florida State's going to start putting people into the league. They've got some dudes now. They've got a few guys that I think are no doubt going to the league starting next year and the year after and the year after. I think we see that they're upwardly mobile. That's the plus side of this. This isn't just an exercise in futility. It is a reminder that they are getting there. There are more guys that look the part. There are more guys that you say, okay, he looks more like Jermaine Johnson looked. That guy's starting to look like guys that used to play on teams that were prolifically good around here. He looks like he'd fit in there. Good. We have more of those guys. But boy, we need a lot more. And it's transfer portal time. I'd invite you guys to watch, if you didn't watch the Smash last night. Michael Langston came on at Warchant.com and addressed the portal, addressed some of the targets, some of the things that he thinks is going to happen in the next few days. I'm excited about that. Go back and watch that. It was me, Aslan, and Michael. It was a lot of fun. Thanks to all of you who did watch it. If you haven't, go back and catch up on it. It was good talk. We're going to be doing more things in the coming days about transfer portal and NIL and stuff like that. That's omnipresent on the minds of college football fans, in particular Florida State fans. I get it. And then also, I know Corey's conversation is coming soon, maybe tomorrow, in fact, that he had with Norvell. And Norvell has been a realist during this whole thing, too. That I appreciate. He's never promised pie in the sky nonsense to guys, and he's never pretended that they were something that they're not. He just knows where they've got to get to, and time is of the essence. And that was brought up last night as well. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Refreshing and simple. 2 words you don't hear many people use to describe their experience going through the process of getting a home loan. That's what puts the Hamilton Home Loans experience in a category all their own. If you're buying or refinancing a home, Hamilton Home Loans will provide a personalized mortgage experience that is dedicated to making the process refreshingly simple. It all begins with an initial consultation with an experienced Hamilton Home Loans advisor to find out what your goals are in order to find the right mortgage to suit your specific needs. Then, your personal home loan advisor will take you through all the steps from application, underwriting, approval, and closing, all the way to the front steps of your new home. Once you've experienced the Hamilton Home Loan process, you can be a customer for life and never have to pay lender fees again. For first responders, nurses, physician assistants, teachers, active and retired military, ask about the Hamilton for Heroes program. Personalized attention with your needs put first. Now that's refreshingly simple. Find out more at HamiltonHomeLoans.com. That's HamiltonHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 200719.
Hey, no fans. friends, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, you know these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
Here we go. Your next chance to grow your green this spring and win $1,000 is coming up at 2 p.m.
I just won $1,000.
Listen for the keyword at the top of the hour. Then enter that keyword online at realtalk93.com.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. Some people call me Paul because I work at Paul's Termite and Pest Control. Everyone that works here will proudly answer to the name Paul. One of the things I love about my job is that I get to help people fix their problems every day. If you have pests in your home and you're like 99.9% of the people I deal with, you want them gone, not tomorrow, but right now. It always puts a smile on my face to hear the reaction of a customer when I tell them we'll have someone out there in a couple of hours. At Paul's, I get the privilege of making your environment safer and more healthy for your family and pets. And because Paul's provides a same-day service guarantee with minimal wait, we get to begin the process right after I receive the call.
If you live in Leon County and call us by noon, Paul's Pest Control will be out by 5, guaranteed. We're a local company, and it's our mission to help keep Tallahassee area customers comfortable and free from the problems that pests bring. And we do so with treatments that are friendly to our environment for the elimination of termites and any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too. Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
To go back through these and talk a little bit about where the program's at. By the way, it lost and all that. Perhaps I did not properly, and I should. Congratulate, obviously, Jermaine Johnson for getting drafted in the first round. And I think, ironically, a little bit of what we talk about on Friday, he ends up in a pretty good situation. Well, first of all, there's 2 ways to look at that situation. One is a young man gets to fulfill a dream and is drafted in the first round on Thursday night. The other is he goes to the Jets. But to counter that, being a multimillionaire at that age in New York City wouldn't suck. And finally, the Jets got it right in the draft. I mean, one after the other, and they carried it over to day 2. they may very well, they are certainly in the conversation, a team that had the best draft on paper. We'll see how it plays out. Obviously, you never know the future with guys and injuries and systems and all of that. But, man, it certainly looks like an upwardly mobile group. Of course, the quarterback's got to be able to play. So that's the biggest thing. All those guys that they got that you like, especially the defensive players, you say, okay. But if the quarterback can't play, it won't matter. So, obviously, Wilson's got to take the next step.
It's an interesting division, though. For a long time, that division was the Patriots, and everybody else is going to go 7-9 or 6-10, and that's the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you ask the question, who is the second best team in that division, you've got a compelling debate, because Buffalo is still the class of the AFC East, and until further notice, they're the most complete team. But the rest of them could all finish with 10 wins. They all could, or they could all finish with 5 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Equal opportunity for all 3 of those particular football franchises. It's going to be interesting. The AFC East is now competitive. The West is the crazy division, but the East is finally, I think, worthy of the media coverage it's going to get, because they usually are covered way too much.
So I saw where Rick noted that his takeaway from what I was saying was that we need 5 stars to win games. No, I want to win a national championship again. I'm always wanting to win a national championship. And clearly for Georgia and Alabama to win national championships, and Clemson, who also did, yeah, they had to have 5 stars. That's who wins national championships. People who have 5-star players just about everywhere, including the 2013 team and for Florida State. So, yeah, I'm looking at national championships. Can Florida State get to 6, 7, 8 wins without 5-star players? Absolutely, and they should, and that's why this year is of vital importance. When you begin, after you get done constantly resetting, and you find some stability, and you flip the locker room and remove the toxicity, and you get everybody pulling in the same direction, and you begin to develop some semblance of quality depth, then you begin to have an opportunity to win 6, 7, 8 games and go to a bowl. So, yeah, that's where Florida State is aiming. I think ultimately what we're saying is that for Florida State to get back to winning national championships, plural, they have 3 of them in their elite history, they're going to need 5-star players. And right now, they're not getting those guys on the regular. Georgia is. They're getting all of them. The others go to Alabama and Ohio State. So, and soon to be USC, by the way, for the not too distant future and for a very long period of time, so long as it's the wild, wild west as it is now, and you can pay, I don't know, a receiver on another roster $2-3 million to come out to Los Angeles. We'll put you up on the beach. Good times. Great. This is great. Good for Pitt to have watched that happen. I mean, can you imagine you lose arguably the best receiver in the country to the transfer portal, and you got no shot? What are you going to do? I mean, Lincoln Riley calls and says, here's a couple mil. We want to win. Your quarterback just went in the first round. You don't have the same guy throwing you the ball. Come on out here, baby. We'll take care of you. He's going to go. You can't keep him from going. This is a weird time, man. It's a fragile time. I don't know what you can do so let's bring it back to Florida State for a second. This was the fear. This is our concern, dude. So if Zaire Thomas becomes what we think he'll become, you're pretty well screwed right now.
Well, that would be the point I'd bring up, that if you're an NIL organization, you have to withhold some of your budget, not for next year, but for later this year.
For your roster.
Yeah, for the current roster. You always have to have a fund, an emergency fund. And I wonder, in the ball game of where does it end? In the grand scheme of where does it end? Will you ever see an in-season holdout? Will that ever be a thing?
Yeah. I mean, you kind of already are beginning to see this.
The bye week in week 7, you had a great 6 weeks because your starter went down. This guy comes in. He's a better football player.
Yeah, I'm going to want some more money to play out the rest of the year when we come back from the bye.
Or I'm just going to sit and go somewhere else because I get a free transfer. So, your call.
Correct.
So, is that where we're going? Is that you think that's going to be a part of the discussion?
Oh, yes. I think so, given that we just got done talking about Isaiah Wong, who's holding his current basketball program, a nothing basketball program that nobody cares about, hostage.
Well, and then backing off because his bluff was called.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying wait till a guy at a place where they do care decides to do the same thing.
Right. Isaiah did it in between seasons.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you think it's possible that it happens within a season.
Sure. Yes, I do. I think it's entirely possible. I think that until a certain set of parameters are agreed upon, or there's an actual functioning body that governs NCAA football or just NCAA sports in general, until that happens, because the NCAA crossed their arms and pouted and never got out in front of anything, mismanaged the whole situation despite being told repeatedly, this is what's coming down the tracks, man. This is what's coming down the tracks. Get out in front of it, control it, set up some rules, and we'll move from here. We'll operate from here where there is a system with agreed upon parameters. But there isn't now. So until there is, and we're dealing with, like you point out all the time, this is the market. There's going to be upheaval in mass. And unless you're a part of the haves, that is to say, you are already positioned in a place of strength with, in some cases, a mega booster who cares more than they should, or a third-party entity that has limitless funds, or Hollywood's in your backyard, then you're in trouble. You're in trouble. So this couldn't have happened at a worse time for Florida State in a lot of ways. To be behind the dumpster, on your knees, no longer, meaning sick, no longer capable of doling out the ass kickings on the regular and holding aloft the dominance that you once possessed, you're forgotten about, passed over. And now you're scrambling. And there are groups that have, we talk about Rising Spear all the time, and we're all grateful as Noles that they're in place now. But let's be real. We're still not in the same position that a reconfigured USC is in, an already dominant, powerful, deep Alabama is in. Georgia is clearly, look, Kirby walked in from Alabama, understood the game and the system, got the people in Georgia to stop doing the dumb stuff that they did for years, which is getting people arrested for jaywalking locally and nonsense. Like Mark Richt's like, really? That's what we're going to do around here. I'm going to have overzealous cops arrest my starting wide receiver for jaywalking on a Friday night after a few beers. That, you guys want to win or not? You want to win or not? So Kirby gets in and says that those days are over, everybody. And by the way, here's what else is going to happen. Let's go. This is how it works at Bama. This is what we do. So in the interim, they make it happen. They get guys. They start stockpiling guys. Great class. And then lo and behold, after they've done all of that under the table stuff, now it becomes above board. Now it's like, oh, you can do it. Well, they're already set.
The question is, let's just say that you had some sort of regulation with, call it 80 scholarships for ease, 10 slots or 10 players to a slot, 8 slots on a team. And so you could pay your top 10 players that you choose to be in the top slot X amount of dollars, then the next slot Y amount of dollars, whatever it is. And you regulate how much money each slotting group is paid. So basically it becomes a professional sport in which there's a cap on how much you can spend on the roster. It still doesn't solve the problem, because you're still going to have a booster who wants to pay the kid an extra $500,000 on the side beyond what the university is going to declare that they're paying the kids. Like my point is, I don't know the way out when a booster at an organization like an A&M or a Georgia or wherever the haves are always going to be able to provide 6-figure checks at minimum on top of whatever the regulated price for a player will be, whatever the regulated salary for a player will be. Unionization, I don't think that solves it either. You would have to make it like a federal crime for somebody to pay a player who is already being paid by a university in order to stop a booster or a rogue organization from doing exactly what they're doing right now. I don't know the way out of this.
All of this does, initially at least, presuppose that there are some rules being considered to be put down and laid in place, right? None of that is happening.
Correct. Yes.
So none of that is happening right now. And it's a question of when, not if. It will happen. But when is a kind of important deal here. When? Next year, year after, 3 years from now, 4 years from now?
It's a collective failure. It's not just on the NCAA. It's also on the coaches like a Nick Saban. He's partly to blame. In fact, he's largely to blame. Because that's somebody who has a powerful enough voice to do something about it, who says, you know what, this is going to work out better for me, so let's continue to do what we're going to do over here.
But what he said most recently, and if you just go by his words, is, look, this isn't sustainable, and we all know this. I don't know that anybody's coming to save the day, so I'm not going to sit around and lose. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to win, which you cannot blame him at that point. Like, hey, guys, this is not good for college football. This isn't good long-term for the sport we all love. This isn't good for the health of the game that we're trying to grow and forever prosper and be successful with. Hey, but guess what? I'm not going to lose. So you guys can suck it. Here's what's going to happen.
Well, what's interesting, though, is there was an opportunity a year or two ago before this all started, because the coaches saw this coming. They did. They knew. For them to collect the power. They could have. They could have become more powerful than the conference commissioners.
I just don't know how you're going to blame any one coach for. I mean, what
I'm saying is everybody has a hand in this. We're saying, man, you're letting Nick Saban benefit from this. Well, yeah. He could have been a voice in the room that said, for the good of the sport that I love, let's regulate this thing before it goes too far.
We want Nick Saban to decide, despite winning a championship or playing for one every year for eons to come, to step up and say, I'll step in where nobody else will and change the sport for the better.
He's already won 80 bajillion titles.
But I'm saying you're just relying on benevolence there, as opposed to, look, they had a ruling body. The university presidents agreed to a ruling body. The NCAA is these universities.
But they already had changed it to Group of Five makes their own rules. Power Five makes their own rules. That had happened 4 or 5 years ago, where there was a different ruling provision that the rest of Division I doesn't abide by the same rules as these conferences. And listen, I'm not saying that, Nick Saban has more of a hand in it than a conference commissioner. No, and certainly not Mark Emmert, who announced that he's going to be retiring like 13 months later, that dude is a criminal. The amount of money he's taken for the lack of work he's done.
Sure.
But I think everybody's got a hand in this thing. If you're involved at that high of a level, you could have done something. And certainly at this point, it's still not too late. You could be the bigger person in the room and try to start the change. But nobody wants to do it right now. Nobody wants to be the first to really get the ball rolling.
Well, I mean, look, in a weird way, he's got shareholders. I mean, he has to answer to people. How he's not going to take that money and then do something that gets his team, his program, beaten and put in a lesser tier. He's not going to do that. No, but none of them would. And I don't blame them for that. I blame Mark Emmert. I blame the NCAA. They were told years ago, man, this is what's coming down. You can go all the way back to the first court cases with EA Sports and all the things that happened there. They were given not so subtle hints that what they were running was in essence illegal.
Yeah, my whole point is guys like Nick, and this is where I group them together with Dabo. They love to tell you how the world should be. And then they actually have a platform to help formulate that world and still empower a player and get a player money, which I'm all for. Never have not been for. And yet, when the time comes and they could be a really important voice in the room, they let it go. And then they get to complain about it like a Monday morning quarterback that they hate on sports talk media or
but
on a website. They become the same thing that they loathe.
Yeah, it is an empty gesture to rail against it and do nothing about it. I hear you there, but it's better than having never said anything in advance at all. They are asked the question for which they respond. They don't just volunteer it.
Sometimes they do.
But
Nick has an agenda like every other Thursday when he.
But I'm saying every time a guy goes to the dais, which he's required to do, and answers questions to the assembled press, he gets asked the question, which allows him the launching platform to go on the diatribe that Jimbo and everybody else used to go on.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that those guys, some of which in the group I just named, did come out and say, we're heading down the wrong path here, guys. Somebody's going to have to get out in front of this. I think they presumed that university presidents, athletic directors, and the NCAA would have been that somebody. Yeah. Because in theory, those are their bosses.
Should be, but it's the TV networks that are the true bosses, especially in college football. Specifically college football, because if you think about how the money is allocated, it is more about the networks than it is the institutions. Now, in basketball and other sports, conferences kind of rule the way a little bit differently, but that's why the payout structure and the bowl structure is a little bit different. Everybody's got a hand in this is my point. I'm not saying that Nick has the biggest hand in it. I'm just saying that, everybody kind of saw this car crash coming, and if they stood to benefit from the car crash, they let the crash happen.
I think now here we are, as with everything, it's reactionary, but you do now have to do something. And the problem here is usually when we get this far out over our skis, and here I'll go, collectively as a society or whatever it might be, whatever you want to talk about, what laws, what is and what is not.
They love to do that.
Okay. All right. So here's the deal. Whenever this happens, where we finally reach a breaking point, a tipping point, where change is imminent, where people begin to realize, I thought one way and now I see it's just not going to happen. People aren't going to rein themselves in. Nobody's going to take the reins and do the right thing. I had hoped to rely on the better angels of our nature, but they don't exist. Greed's going to win the day, so maybe we now have to enact something, right? Whenever that happens, you usually have a clearly defined group that are the overlords of that thing, right? That are tasked with the responsibility of pulling on the big boy pants and sitting down at a table with one another and going, hey, well, we all concede this is not what we had in mind and that we have to do something about it. The problem you have now is that's not true. There's who is going to do, who are they turning to?
Yeah, there's only
the SEC already told everybody this, get you some. We're just going to come take your teams. There's nothing you can do about it. Do something. Nobody did, and they won't.
The only group that can is the one that's ultimately going to do this to me, and it's the television networks. Because fan interest is going to wane. It already has started. Fan interest is going to wane in the sport, so the money they're paying these conferences is going to be so far above what the ROI is in terms of viewership. Live sports is the only thing left on television, like the one that you plug into the wall, not the one that goes over the air through Wi-Fi. Live sports is the only appointment viewing left in the country. So if you lose viewership on live sports, you got nothing. So the TV execs are going to have to be the ones to protect their own financial interest. This is where the market's going to protect itself, and they're going to say, the hell with you guys. You really want this to be a 4-team sport? It already is, but you really want this to be a 4-team sport. In the best interest of our dollars, we're either going to cut your contract or we're going to have to reorganize here. I think that's where the TV networks probably come in and save the day, even though they're not exactly the good guys either.
So I'm not saying that I want any one group, Guns 287, to be the authoritarian here. I'm saying that there is no governing body in regards to the NCAA or, well, in this case, specifically football.
Boy, Azareye'h Thomas made some big plays for Florida State in week 1. It's amazing that he's playing against them now in week 7 for Clemson. Like that's is that where this is going to go?
My point is, for example, when you end up having a situation like a league, when you're operating a league, we bring this up all the time. So baseball, Major League Baseball is a trust. So people like George Steinbrenner and others, but Steinbrenner in particular, in the largest media market in the world, New York City, which has a distinct advantage over everybody else, really was for telling the world to kiss off and pound sand, and that his payroll could be whatever he wanted it to be. $500 million. I'll go get every one of the good players that exist in the world. Your good player, that good player, Korea's good player, Japan's good player. I'll bring them all in because money is of no consequence to me here in the largest market in the world. And Major League Baseball went, yeah, no, that's not going to work because the Yankees, and I say it all the time, can't play the Yankees. They have to play Kansas City and Baltimore and Chicago and Boston and Tampa Bay and all these other, so we can have an effing league, so that we can have a league that's worth watching, not just a traveling carnival of great players kicking ass against no-name bums throwing underhand because they've all been gobbled up by the Yankees. So this is what happens. You have to be able to have a league. They don't have anything right now that can dissuade this, what we're seeing, what we're, like if you think of conference commissioners, you think of the SEC, you think of the power brokers, they're not backing down. They're not going to change their behavior, and they shouldn't. They might as well just keep grabbing. Do it. If we were in that league, we'd be like, all right, well, more money for us.
Well, I'll get more quiet if they come poach us. Yeah, no problem. But I think it's the TV networks that have to work together here because, again, they're the ones. The NFL is worth it to ESPN. They pay ridiculous amounts of money to air NFL games. Now they're going to get in the Super Bowl rotation, but it's for the highlight packages on SportsCenter that they pay most of that money to the NFL.
Yes.
It's worth it. It's worth it to the channel for them to do that. College football is not going to be worth anything compared to what Fox is paying or CBS used to pay or ESPN is currently going to pay if this continues down this path because people are going to say the hell with it. The hell with it.
Well, there's good news for college football in that regards, Tom, because if I'm going to argue the other side, and we'll be here for hours if we do this, I would tell you that now that Southern Cal has decided to put on their big boy pants and they have access to gazillions of dollars and, of course, a media market similar to New York City, to say the least, they're going to be good. They're going to be really good. They're going to be elite. It's going to be Reggie Bush all over again. They're going to be great. I got no problem with that. Whatever. Point is, they're going to be.
Could we interest you in the SEC West? They're going to get a phone call very soon.
So Southern Cal is going to be that. So you talk about regionalization of the sport and how it's bad for the sport and how it's been whittled down to a bunch of teams in the South, and that's it. That's it besides Ohio State. Right. Okay. And that being bad for the overall eyes on sets value of the sport. Well, USC's about to be good. I got to imagine in this brave new world that Texas isn't going to go another draft without having a player taken. I'm going to guess. I mean, they've got a ton of oil money. They got money for days. What are we doing, Tejas?
They've had a path to the title akin to Florida State for a long time. Oklahoma was in the way, but FSU had to get through Clemson 10 years ago.
They had a very similar path. It's Oklahoma and Texas, and it's been dominant Oklahoma for a long time, much to the chagrin of all things Longhorns, right? But here's the deal. There's no excuse. They ought to be doing what you're seeing Georgia do. You're Texas. Tons of talent right there. Get them. Pay them. Get them in there. Let's go. Now, I don't want to see Texas win because I want to see Florida State win. And all the good players that go to Texas could be going to Florida State. That's the way I view it. But you will see it start to spread out a little bit, and that is the counter, right? Southern Cal is going to be good. We know Ohio State's going to be good. Now you get Texas, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, all good. I know you could say, well, but Texas and Oklahoma are in the SEC. Yeah, but location-wise, in terms of regional where they are, they're not in the Southeast. So there's that. You just need a couple of other teams.
Yeah, then you have your 8-team league, and then that's it. That's it.
Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 89. Southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows around 66. Tonight, partly cloudy. Slight chance for scattered thunderstorms. Tomorrow, high of 88. A blend of clouds and sun. Mainly sunny Wednesday with highs around 89. 91 Thursday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 85.
Did you know metal roofs' survivability far exceeds that of traditional shingle roofs? It's time to consider a metal roof from Metal Roofing Sales of Tallahassee. We provide the best quality, least expensive material and accessories in the area, as well as material pickup and delivery. Our painted panels qualify for the City of Tallahassee's low-interest Energy Star loan program also. And don't forget about our veteran law enforcement discount. Give Metal Roofing Sales a call today at 536-9123, 536-9123.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother. But, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true. But I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. Pastor Tabner was alone with a female church employee. She in a towel, and he in his boxers. The charismatic 41-year-old Hurley explained the two of them had been making chili and gotten food on their plates. With the hot dogs that they were making, we are hoping that the pastor used the right condiments.
I think there was at least one hot dog involved.
I don't know what you're talking about. We were just making chili dogs.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. Real Talk fact number 44. Banging your head against the wall for 1 hour burns 150 calories. This is Real Talk 93.3, Tallahassee's Real Talk station. Real Talk fact number 82. There are three kinds of people in the world. Those who can count and those who can't. This is Real Talk 93.3. We are the talk of the town. Really, we are. This is Real Talk 93.3. Remember, if you don't have anything nice to say it really, really loud. This is Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
rules for accountable coaches, and the football head coach violated head coach responsibility rules according to an agreement released by the Division I Committee on Infractions. It exists. The university, the head football coach, and the NCAA enforced staff agreed that a former football coach's team analyst provided technical or tactical instruction. Now, it did them no earthly good. That is not pointed out here, but clearly it did them no good that the analyst was helping. And I blame Martinez because he was, again, the quarterback at Nebraska last year, and all the tutelage in the world could not save this forever gone football program as long as Martinez is at the helm.
Is he back again this year?
My God, he can't be. He's 50. He's been sucking for 30 years. I mean, so says a Nebraska fan at a local watering hole when the question is pondered by the bartender at 1 a.m. He can't be. I can't live another year in a world in which Martinez is our starting quarterback.
He went to Kansas State, transferred to K-State.
So anyhow, they get a little probation for a year, $10,000 fine, all that other stuff. Got to get better at it. I'd be violating every last one of these rules on the daily. They're useless. Violate them all while we can. While it's the wild, wild west, you have to act accordingly. Start wiling.
Shoot first.
Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
Is a masterpiece designed to heal itself from within. Learn how to maximize your health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
Physical stress on our bodies can take its toll as the years go by. Whether you're looking to get back into an old sport or just want to spend more time outdoors to explore all life has to offer in our beautiful city, the dedicated team at TOC is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all your orthopedic needs. And now, scheduling an appointment has never been easier. Just visit teamtoc.com and click schedule online. That's teamtoc.com.
Dirty exterior? Don't scrub it. Wet it and forget it. Wet and Forget, the easy outdoor cleaner. Wet and Forget works overtime with Mother Nature to eliminate unsightly black and green stains on the exterior of your home with no scrubbing, power washing, or bleach. Use Wet and Forget on all your outdoor surfaces, including decks, siding, roofs, and patios. Wet and Forget's available in a concentrate or extreme reach hose-in. Purchase Wet and Forget in store or online at Lowe's, Menards, Ace, or Walmart.
Angie's List is now Angie, your home for everything home. With Angie, you could cross your next project off your to-do list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need and we'll handle the rest. Sending a top pro to get it done. Or browse reviews, compare quotes from pros, and connect instantly. All for free. For everything from routine maintenance to a dream remodel. Because however you want your project done, we'll get it done. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Here we go. It's time for a chance to grow your green and win $1,000 cash plus a shot at a $10,000 grand prize. Here's your new keyword.
Music. M-U-S-I-C. Music. M-U-S-I-C. Music.
Enter that word now at realtalk93.com, and you might be the next winner.
Holy cow, thank you. Oh my God.
I just won $1,000.
Hey, this is Monica. Hey, this is Elizabeth, and I just won $1,000. All right.
More of the Jeff Cameron Show is coming up next after this town hall news break on WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. First Lady Joe Biden travels to Eastern Europe this weekend to meet with Ukrainian mothers and children who have fled to neighboring countries. White House correspondent Greg Cluxton with that report.
The First Lady will visit Romania and Slovakia, two NATO countries that share borders with Ukraine and where civilians have fled after the Russian invasion. She will go to Romania first, then will spend Mother's Day in Slovakia with refugees, humanitarian aid workers, and local Slovakians. The White House says the First Lady will also meet with U.S. service members, U.S. embassy personnel, and educators during her trip. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Also at townhall.com, the search for a missing prisoner and the prison official escorting him continues, with a $10,000 reward being offered.
The Lauderdale County Sheriff's Office says the pair disappeared Friday after Assistant Director of Corrections Vicki White said she was taking prisoner Casey White, who is not related to her, to court. And then she said she had a doctor's appointment. Turns out he didn't have a court date. She didn't show for the doctor's appointment. The day before she turned in retirement papers, he was in prison on a capital murder charge. The sheriff says it's a possibility she helped him, but she could still be in danger. I'm Julie Walker.
The Federal Reserve poised this week to accelerate its most drastic steps in 3 decades to attack inflation by making it costlier to borrow for a car, a home, a business deal, or a credit card purchase. That's after the central bank's latest rate-setting meeting ends this Wednesday. The Fed set to announce it's raising its benchmark short-term interest rate by a 0.5 percentage point. And on Wall Street, stocks have turned lower now. The Dow is down 355 points and the NASDAQ is off 82 points. This is townhall.com.
A deep spring cleaning can do wonders for your home, but updates can really take it to the next level. Renovations don't have to break the bank with Blinds.com. Blinds.com has the selection and expertise to help you find the perfect custom window treatments that make it look like your entire home got a spring makeover. They even have outdoor shades for your deck or patio to keep you cool and comfortable. Plus, Blinds.com has made the whole process easier than ever by giving you access to expert design consultants and local pros to handle installation. And no matter how many window treatments you order, installation is just one low cost. That's why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings with over 40,000 5-star reviews. Shop Blinds.com right now and save up to 40% off everything site-wide. Go to Blinds.com right now for up to 40% off everything site-wide. Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Didn't do it, Tom. I said, screw it. I'm not mowing it.
You son of a.
I know. It'll get mowed probably today. If not, Tuesday, which is tomorrow.
Went to war on the laundry yesterday.
There you go.
We're on number 4, cycle number 4.
Buddy, if you ever do, maybe you will, maybe you won't, but if you guys ever have kids, I warn you that there is one major downside besides going broke. You will do laundry, and you will do more laundry, followed by some more laundry, followed by a little bit more laundry, and then some laundry. And after that, a little bit of laundry.
Didn't we have a friend who provided a service in that realm? Can we get him back?
We did. Still a friend, just not providing that service currently. We could utilize that. Also, I didn't mention it last hour since we got so caught up in the draft, what it means, where Florida State's at, the impending doom of all things NIL, draft portal, and the desperate state of affairs in college football, if you will. But the weekend that we had hoped for on the diamond transpired. Could have been even better than we had hoped for. And that, we said, hey, at least take 2 out of 3, win the series. They did. I said, gosh, in a perfect world, they'd get a sweep. Well, they might have. They led as the rains came. It didn't rain that long.
In the 4th,
of course. I'm like, man, one more inning. We could have told these bums from TCU, get on that damn plane, losers. We still can. But it would have been a more resounding get on that plane, losers, had it been a clean 3-game-to-none sweep, which it might very well have been.
That's on the Sunday starter. What are we doing here? Come on now.
For the Rains.
Come on, Hubbard. Let's go. We spotted you a 5 spot. Let's go. Get these outs.
Get these outs. Get you some of these outs and let's go. The rain's coming. I want to say that if I were, again, starting over and was going to play baseball and wanted to play baseball and wanted to emulate a college baseball player's swing, all right, it'd be James Tibbs. That swing is the sweetest damn swing. I've got a crush on James Tibbs. That dude, that swing is gorgeous. I can watch it over and over. It's just it's a perfect swing. That kid is a beast. We better get some NIL money ready.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm telling you, that guy right there is the truth.
Dallas Baptist is calling. They got that Jesus money.
Well, the problem is, I would too. If I were them or anybody else, I'd be calling James Tibbs. Man, that kid is an animal. He's a freshman. He's hitting to over 330 the last I checked. He's obviously a guy that's currently he's killing it, but he's been killing it all year long. Even his outs are gorgeous. Like, a strikeout from Tibbs is better than a strikeout from anybody else on the roster. You're like, that's a good-looking swing. I know he didn't hit anything there but it was a good-looking swing. Every time I see it, I'm like, hey, it's all right. We'll pop up in the infield. It's not ideal, but that was a good-looking swing. I'm just telling you, that guy.
Terrell strikes out, you go, damn it! And then he strikes out Tibbs, you go,
Well,
okay.
if a guy strikes out Tibbs, I'm like, boy, that kid must be Cy Young. How the hell did he get Tibbs out? I mean, that's how good this kid is. It is impressive, man. And his last 10 games, he's hitting .429. He gets on base, he walks, he hits bombs, he drives the ball to all fields. It's just, we got us one. We got us a superstar.
Tied 9th right now in the pseudo RPI. They are squarely in position to host at least a regional.
There it is, right?
Yep.
There it is. So what a weird baseball program and weird baseball team. If you get a little bit of hitting from this team at all, they are hell on wheels because, again, they can pitch. They can pitch. Now, they're not as dominant, as consistently dominant. Obviously, Messick's start the other night.
Yep.
That'll hurt your feelings if you're TCU riding high. You've won a bunch of series against ranked teams in a row. Roll on into Tallahassee, ready to show your wares, and you get told to be quiet, sit down. You got nothing. Thanks for the paltry, 2 hits? Did they have 2 hits in that game? TCU?
2 GD hits.
2 hits with an aluminum bat. Woo! So that's domination.
Yeah, it's May, so enjoy this final full month with Mr. Messick.
Yeah.
It's been a run.
Man. Yeah, and somebody pointed out on Twitter there, I checked the Twitter machine over the weekend, somebody pointed out that you accidentally stumbled into the right score there. You're like, short of us winning 10-0, and then we won 10-0.
Some say accidentally.
Oh, you didn't say they're going to win 10-0? That's not. Go listen to the audio.
I was there.
Yeah, okay.
I'm
hey,
your omniscient narrator. You know, that's
all
what
right,
it is.
well, omnisciently tell us how we're going to do against Miami here.
Well, let's get to Stetson first.
Okay.
It's going to be a little dicey.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little dicey tomorrow.
Get a little on yourself.
Yeah, it's actually a tough week for the RPI. Wish we had that extra opportunity and victory over TCU because I think Stetson's in the 140s, and then we're on the road at Boston College this weekend, and they're in the hundreds themselves. So even if you were
Just
to sweep the week, I think it hurts.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Just take care of business. So Florida State is 11th in the RPI, and looking good.
Tied nine, which is good news.
Oh, I see where you're. I see the little numbers. Yeah, tied 9. They need to do better than that. Come on, Boys World, get it together. That was down there at 10, 11, 12 when they're all the same at 593. And just what is this? 594, 596, 8 and 7 right there. So you've got a shot to easily cruise into that top 8. Then what are we talking about? Baseball's a weird game. Tennessee actually suffered a loss over the weekend, stunningly enough. They are 40-4. 40-4. It's baseball.
They're not making it out of a regional. There you go. There's a statement for you.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. They won't go to the College World Series.
Well, now it's not going to work.
They're 40-4. We've seen such shenanigans in the sport, the very, very cruel sport that is baseball. You can be far and away the better team throughout the course of many games, but it's not many games that you play in the postseason. It's a succinct amount, and they matter more. And stumble if you do, it is hell to pay, and we know it.
Here comes Cal Poly Humboldt, but they've got a Friday night guy who's going to go 7th in the
6th
draft.
pick in the draft at Cal Poly Humboldt.
Yeah,
throws 98 and paints.
Yeah, a little 2-1 action on a Friday night, and Tennessee's in the losers bracket of the Knoxville Regional.
Well, there are countless examples, man. I remember losing 1-0 to somebody and having some beers outside the back fence there in right field one time, and all of us wondering who the hell's that kid. And then fast forward 2 years later, kid's in the majors. You're like, okay, great. So this kid, for God knows what reason, probably assaulted somebody in high school, ended up at this sorry-ass college, rolls in here, painting corners, 4 pitches for strikes. What are we doing? It pisses me off, man. Baseball is so cruel. It's brutal. But, hey, Florida State did what they needed to do. They continue to do what they need to do when they're facing ranked opponents. Ranked opponents, limber up. Everybody else, you got a good shot to beat us.
That's right.
You got a really good shot.
It's going to be a tough week this week. Going to be a real tough week.
It's crazy, isn't it? What a fun time it is right now, though, because obviously for you, Tom, and we won't read and rattle on about this, but here we go, and I love it too. Postseason NHL begins, and we're off.
Oh, yeah.
And we're off. Bolts, Maple Leafs.
You know, I used to be able to hit the ESPN NHL theme,
yeah,
but I think it would get pinged by YouTube because it's relevant again. That theme is now relevant. And as I was watching Sunday Night Baseball last night between my Mets and Director Matthews Phillies, all the promos they ran for the Stanley Cup playoffs, like I know it's been on ESPN this whole season, and the opening night thing was cool, but now it's real. That music is real. This whole thing, it's back on ESPN because tonight you've got games on both the regular network and ESPN2. It's going to be all over. And it's on TBS and TNT as well. And they do a pretty good job. So it's back.
Anything stand out to you besides the fact that we had all of one damn player taken in the NFL draft? Anything that really shocked you? No, I don't think so. I don't think there were any, out there off the radar kind of selections. I will say I'm not real sure what Atlanta was doing, but all right. I mean, I'm not a fan of drafting receivers that struggled to get open when they were in college. That's just me. You can throw measurables at me and tell me that guy's big and he's strong and he can do all these things. I might counter with, can he catch? Or did you ever see him get open in college? Where it's easier to get open? you could ask that question about Drake London, and maybe Atlanta fans are kind of a little uncomfortable asking that question, kind of like, why did we take him? Like, nobody on earth thought that was the best receiver we could have gotten.
I'm interested to see what Matt Corral does in Carolina, and they got him at a good value. So, the division picked up a couple of quarterbacks. It's better than getting some of these free agents that were out there for them to be immediately better, like Deshaun Watson. If he's allowed to play and Carolina got that guy or New Orleans got that guy, that'd be real bad news. But it's interesting. The NFC South did pick up a couple of young quarterbacks, so we'll see.
Congratulations to Jameis Winston, who walked over the weekend, got his degree, and that's always something to doff the cap for, so I'm happy for him. Reached out to his folks and said congratulations to them. We're efforting. We'll see. Come on, Ant. We're trying to make it happen to get Jameis on the program, and we can congratulate him and ask him, obviously, about the upcoming season. He's going to be the guy in New Orleans, and they went out and got some help. So we'll see. They need they need a lot. They would argue they don't need a lot, I suppose, but they did go out and get some help for him. So we'll see. And they also they got a tackle as well. So, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's good to see, too, that Jameis made time to stop by the baseball facility. He surprised Chip Baker in the booth as they were doing the broadcast, which I thought was pretty cool. Saw those photos on social media. And then there was a recruit or two who said that they saw Jameis and were able to talk to Jameis, football recruits, while they were on campus. So that's what you do. Well done. It's multiple coaching staffs since your guy left here, but good job, Jameis.
I hope he stays healthy. I'd like to see what he can do. Obviously, I'm a huge Bucs fan, and I don't want it to be at the expense of Tampa Bay at any point. I think the Bucs have the better team, so I'm not as worried about it, although the Saints defense has long been a thorn in the side of Tampa Bay football.
You got the better team for like a year. Listen,
this is a prolonged run. If you want to have fun with this, now that we're post-draft and we look ahead, and was it next week the schedule comes out for everybody so we can really start getting into what's what.
I'm looking at the December. I'm like, all right, when can I get down there for a football game?
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
It's a lot of fun. But if we want to do this again, if we want to revisit the topic, because I think it bears that out, at the time that we had the debate with Winston, whether or not to let him go, whether or not to invest in a guy like Tom Brady. If you do, you're anteing up. You've decided to put all the chips into the middle of the table. You'd better win a Super Bowl. Well, they did. They did win a Super Bowl. So it worked. It's a resounding success. But I would argue it's an even bigger success than what I projected, what I thought it would be. Like, when we had this debate, you and I, we went back and forth on this, and then we kind of disagreed a little, went back and forth. We were all sort of, and that's because James is our guy. But the bottom line is, I said, and you agreed, and I think anybody would have, any Bucs fan would have, if you win a Super Bowl, it's all worth it. That's why you're doing it. But in the end, we didn't think you'd get 3 years of this. So what you did get was a Super Bowl victory in Tampa, first ever to do it in their backyard. So now that the Rams have done it, hey, we were first. Anyhow, bottom line is, Tampa Bay did do it, won the Super Bowl, then turned around and won the division, which is something we wanted just because, damn it, it's been a while since we
don't do that.
We don't do that. It'd be nice to win the division. So we did, and another playoff win and all that. So added to the resume of important victories in franchise history. The last 2 years have featured a ton of them, to the tune of a Super Bowl championship and a division championship and some playoff wins to throw in there as well. Those are all meaningful. A road win in Lambeau, all that other stuff. That's huge.
Yeah, the folly of it all is, looking back at the beginning, is that Jameis was asking for more money than we ended up paying Tom Brady.
Yes.
That's where
the market fell apart, for him.
It did. Yeah, he picked the wrong year. He picked the wrong year.
He got a little unlucky.
Should have come back to Florida State for one more year so he could have reset the market.
I just remember at the time when I saw $25 million asking price, I was like, "Oh, don't do that."
He's asking for over 30.
Well, yeah, but I think they were willing to take less. But even still, anywhere in the neighborhood of 25, 27, I was like, don't do that.
Brady for 25? I'm taking Brady for 25.
Yes.
No disrespect.
Yeah, well, no. He's the greatest quarterback in the history of football. Sure, I'm going to take him. By the way, because what came with it was not only a facelift, but also an agreement from other great players to stick around and others to come join. And the point also here is that now you've changed the fortunes of the franchise permanently, or for the very foreseeable future, right? I mean, the Bucks now are a destination. They are now no longer seen as the franchise that was. And so you won a Super Bowl, you won a division, you're a contender already. Right now, as we sit here today, you're one of 4 teams that people would, odds on Vegas has, picked to have a chance to win the Super Bowl. Best odds to get to and win the Super Bowl. So you got a 3rd year out of it, which you did not expect to get, and we temporarily didn't when he retired, but now he came back, and so you get that. And then they did a good job of adding some pieces around him. By the way, what is New England doing? So you think about what New England does. They go and they draft a guard, but you had an all-pro guard that you let come to Tampa. Why didn't you just keep him?
You got younger.
Well,
less expensive.
I guess. So
more reasonably, reasonably priced.
We'll see. Just weird. But yeah, so that guard comes to Tampa, right? Why? Because he wants to play with Tom. So now you got a Pro Bowl guard to replace your other Pro Bowl guard that abruptly retired. So you bring him in, and now you got, more than a suitable replacement. Now I need the tight end, the Hall of Fame tight end, to stop,
joshing around.
Just, even if it's an under the table, hey, look, man, you guys know I'm coming back. I'm just not coming to camp. Okay, well, you don't have to come to camp. Just keep it together. Hit that Orange Theory Fitness. Make sure you're running a little bit, okay? Make sure you're keeping it together so that we don't have to watch you in quicksand the first 3 games of the year like we did when you first came back.
You know what happened this year is where my family comes from, where I was born in Brooklyn, across the water on a place called Beach 116th Street in Rockaway. That's like the main drag. Orange Theory Fitness just opened this year.
Hey, how about that? Way to grow. Way to grow, Orange Theory Fitness.
Pretty cool.
I think I told you, MC Surge, third base from Rockaway.
Oh, really?
Yeah. MF Doom, which previously was not MF Doom, I think he too was from Rockaway.
Oh yeah, well, there's a lot of culture in Rockaway.
I'm letting you know.
The far Rockaway,
badasses are from Rockaway.
Jones Beach.
Chef Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Sellers Tile does it better for business owners, contractors, designers, and homeowners. Better design ideas, better quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring, better mosaic, ceramic, and vinyl solutions. And Sellers makes it easier with their amazing showroom and first-class professionals. Maybe it's time to get Sellers working for you on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com. For better style, quality, and design, go with Sellers in Tallahassee. Call 656-8453.
Whether you're looking to get back into an old sport or just want to spend more time outdoors to explore all life has to offer in our beautiful city, the dedicated team at Tallahassee Orthopedic Clinic is here for you every step of the way. Now, scheduling an appointment has never been easier. Just visit teamtoc.com and click schedule online.
When your AC unit decides to give up the ghost, it doesn't always pick the best time. But no matter what time, day or night, or day of the week, you can call E&B Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll be out to bring your AC unit back to life. We've been repairing and replacing heating and air conditioning systems in the North Florida and South Georgia area since 1974. So when your air conditioner stops working, call E&B Heating and Air Conditioning to the rescue.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready?
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. Not this is. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
All right, about that time to upgrade my iPad and my Apple Gear. How much memory do I need? What upgrade should I get? What size screen? How many chargers do I need? USB-C, USB-D, mini USB, USB-B, ABC, 1, 2, 3?
If only there was a local business that can guide you and help you understand what you need and get you the best pricing possible. Oh, wait, that's what they do over at Mac & More Systems on Capitol Circle. Get help buying the right gear for the right price and have it shipped directly to their store for pickup, all at no extra cost. That's the kind of service you won't get at any big box store. Shop local at Mac & More Systems. Find out more online at macandmoresystems.com.
DQ presents the sound of an all-star summer lineup. Leading off, the promising rookie, new Oreo Dirt Pie. On deck, the fan-favorite Girl Scout Thin Mints. Summer standouts, drumstick with peanuts and cotton candy. And batting cleanup, it's you. With your red spoon and 6 Summer Blizzard flavors, official treat of MLB. All part of the new DQ All-Star Summer Blizzard lineup. DQ? Happy tastes good.
Straight Talk Wireless now has the new iPhone 13 with cinematic mode, which lets you focus on what matters. And with Straight Talk, you can focus on getting the best deal. Our Silver Unlimited plan is just $45 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. And it runs on the largest, most dependable networks, now with nationwide 5G. With the iPhone 13 on Straight Talk, you can share whatever you want, wherever you want. Straight Talk Wireless. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is sponsored by the legendary team at Hamilton Home Loans. Great rates, cutting-edge technology, and transparent communication is the recipe for a 5-star mortgage experience at FSUHomeLoans.com.
Talk Radio Warchant TV. I screwed up. I went long. I'm in between. We're in between clubs. It's like 4 minutes, and Ira's supposed to come on. I got to give the allotted time because I want to. Necessary there. I don't know.
We can shoot the breeze for a couple of minutes, and I'll call Ira.
Let's just go ahead and shoot the breeze.
And as Trey Jones would say, you're never really in between clubs because would you rather be 15 or to 30 feet long or short of the hole?
You want to be long. You want to be past the pin.
Yeah.
That's a better way of saying it.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at that. I'm getting better at saying, all right, I'm going to go past the pin here. Let's aim past the pin. Let's take the club that's long because the chances that I absolutely pure this.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you.
Well done.
All
golfers are like, whoop,
everybody knew what I was about to say. The chances I pure this are not good. Although the other day when you and I played, I pured the one from 160 out, and I was like, oh, I didn't think I was going to pure that. It's well off the back. I was like, that's center of their club face there, guys. Great.
I think it's still climbing as it's going over the green.
Man, that is in the trees. And then you don't even get the honor of bragging that you hit that as well as a ball can be hit because it did you know earthly good. Although I did go, look at that.
Right, yeah. That was beeped on, though, wasn't it? Like,
it was. Yeah. It was definitely pissed on.
Oh,
yeah,
hey.
You can say pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Somebody asked. P. Simpson did. I believe that
Simpson, eh?
Yeah, Smithers. So the thought being that I have $1 billion and I what am I going to spend it on?
Yes, sir.
It's not going to be. I mean, I guess $1 billion. I spend on whatever the hell I want. I mean, you don't have to worry about anything. Yeah, I'd help out Rising Spear. But again, I also don't want buildings. I've never needed a building named after me. Somebody might come and want to do that, but I'm not going to force.
Well, I'd right the wrong and put my name on the club level. They already should have.
But that's more about the show's theme and joke. It's not because you need your name on the club level.
No, but it's the Tom Lang Memorial Champions Club.
But you're not dead.
It's a living memorial.
It's a living memorial. They should have engraved my name when I got them to repaint. So we went from being fadey pink back to garnet the way it should be.
For years. And that was at the peak of our powers.
Between that
was like the flags. Remember they had the new flags and they were all like faded pink? It's like, these are brand new. Well, we never had the ignition tradition. How are they pink already?
Yeah, the problem is, man, it's hot in Florida. It's hot in this state. The sun, it shines bright. It's going to fade and fade quick no matter what you do. The padding out there at Dick Hauser, which, I'd bulldoze that stadium too. Maybe that's what I would do. That's exactly what I would do. I'd help out with that baseball program and bulldoze Hauser. And we'd have a brand new Hauser Mike Martin Field. We would do it up. It would be gorgeous, state of the art. And it'd be right where you came out of, like, let's say you were college town, you just walk right out with your beer in hand. Like, well, look at that beautiful stadium that Jeff Cameron built. Thank God for him.
You create something with like a pool area too. You could call it Camster's Cove. And that's where
I don't want a bunch of people out there spreading their nastiness out there in the cove. I don't need all that. I think these pools on the roof thing is a bad idea too. I never liked that either.
You don't like that?
No, it's disgusting. Like, who's getting in that pool?
You would have in college.
Nah.
You would have gone to recess.
Nah, I don't
lived it
so.
up.
I don't think so. Not in the pool. I'd look at the people in the pool, but I'm not getting in the pool. Never wanted to go to those pools. So it's like
the people.
Don't they in Jacksonville? Don't they have a stupid thing in the pool? Don't they? The football team? Don't they have an area?
Yeah, in the end zone. Yeah.
You ever see the people in that pool? Think about it. They're in Jacksonville, first of all. Secondly, every time you see that fan base in a pool, you're like, oof, it's a toughie.
He needed to cool off.
That guy's from the Landing. It's a toughie. And then there's Arizona. It's not good out there either. When you see the pool out in Arizona, if you ever see an Arizona game, meaning the D-backs.
Yeah, no. Yes, of course, the D-backs. Now, what if they had a hot tub in like Colorado at the beginning of the season or in October baseball? That'd be kind of cool. It's cold outside. They got a hot tub.
I'm not going in. I'm not going in.
All
You
right.
don't know where these people are from. You don't know what they've done. I'm not doing that. Ira Schoffel, Warchant.com joins us right now. Ira, would you get in any of these bodies of water at the stadiums of which we speak?
No, but hell no.
Right.
Although chlorine is a wonderful thing, but yeah, no, not happening.
Get Down or Lay Down tells me that the Landing is gone. I know, but it will live on forevermore on this show, just for how long it did last and for all the things that I saw there every time I went by the Landing, and for the way that the Jacksonvillians talked about the Landing as if it was this great thing. All right, Ira. So you wrote the piece on warchant.com. It led to my diatribe today, not because you said anything incendiary that led me to scream at the top of my lungs about how bad it's gotten here and the dearth of good players, but it is a terrible mirror to hold up to this program as you use the analogy. And what were your thoughts? Obviously enough to put pen to pad, right, about where Florida State sits, that we don't have a lot of good players around here, dude.
Well, I mean, I think the thing is that, and I, again, my point was that doesn't tell us what we already knew. We've seen the play on the field, and the reality is, it's been difficult. A couple of people on the message boards asked questions like, well, have you guys been alerting us to this issue? Have you guys been sounding the alarm that the talent is not there? Well, number one, I would say yes. But what's tricky with all this is when they've gone into the portal the last 2 years and gone after all of these guys, they've signed, Mike Norvell has gone out and got like 24 guys out of the portal. And every time you kind of celebrate the addition because you say, okay, well, that's somebody that can help. This is a guy that can help us. He's better than what we've got. And then you see that play out. The vast majority of the guys they brought in through the transfer portal end up being starters, certainly are in the 2-deep depth chart. There are a few guys that were bust and didn't work out at all, but for the most part, these are some of your best football players, and they're not getting drafted. And so that just tells you that, yes, you're getting better, but you're still not where you need to be. And it kind of, I think, it's just kind of a dose of reality, which sometimes these things, sometimes you feel like once you realize that the talent isn't where it needs to be, that you would just know it for eternity. But it's almost like people need these constant reminders. Oh, wait a minute. This program doesn't have a lot of talent. Well, it's been that case. It's been that case now for 3 or 4 years, and it's got to turn around at some point, but it hasn't turned around yet.
Here's the catch-22. People say they want to be alerted to this. They want us in particular, you, me, anybody else that has a platform to tell them this. But the second you do, and I have, they get pissed. They call you negative. They think you're too down on the program, that you never see the bright side of things. Why can't you just allow for good things to be instead of pointing out that it's a good thing and a pile of garbage? I mean, that's what happens. That's what happens there. I mean, because it's tough. Because on the one hand, I'm like, okay, listen, we all did this. The second we saw Jermaine Johnson, it was a stark reminder of how far away Florida State is and how far Georgia in particular has come. Because that dude walked in and we were like, oh, who looks like that? Well, apparently 15, 16 dudes in Georgia, they look like that. And Alabama and everywhere, right? But not here. Not here. Nobody looks like that here.
And even below him, a guy like when Jayshon Corbin comes in, I mean, he's been your best running back for 2 years straight. Is he special?
No.
Are the teams you're playing against sitting in their film room going, man, if only we had that guy? Or with, Keir Thomas or Jordan Wilson or all these other guys that played a lot, they're nice players. They have helped you. You don't want to diminish. I don't want to criticize them. They have helped Florida State's football program, but very few of them, other than Jermaine Johnson, really none of them have been guys that other teams are like, oh my gosh, they went and got that guy. They're all better than what you had, but that just shows where you were.
It does. It is a terrible reminder. And then I think, Ira, the other part of it is we really are in an unsettled landscape. So right now, as you're attempting to climb, as they say, and you're bringing in better caliber players, there's no guarantees you're going to keep any of them. Some people are like, well, let's say we do get a few guys. We're going to get poached. And that may or may not be true. They may not get poached. They may have guys that have bought in, believed in the culture. It's why they said yes, despite being as highly touted as they were coming out of high school. They believed in Norvell and his staff and the messaging, and they get here and they have success and they want to stay and they want to watch it build. That very well may happen. I think it's likely with guys like McCall and Thomas. But because Florida State has been burned in a couple of high-profile ways, then, the thought is, well, even when we get good guys, we're going to be able to keep them. Are we equipped to keep them in the era of NIL? And it scares everybody to death.
Yeah, and it's impossible to really have a good feel for that right now because none of us really knows how this market is going to play out over time. I mean, I'm quickly moving from anger to sadness to grief to acceptance with what the sport is becoming. And I think the fan base and the media, and I think everybody will kind of get there pretty quickly to where it's like, okay, well, this is how it is. Go buy your players. Go find a way. And I know you were already there.
Hey, buddy, I got there a couple of years back. I mean, come on now. I have been beating this drum for a while. There is nobody surveying nobody's paying attention. Nobody cares. And now it's above board. Now you can just straight up do it.
Yeah. So then the question becomes, okay, can you keep the players you want to keep, but then maybe go out and poach some other players from other schools? And so, man, it stinks. I mean, I hate even the conversation, but it is what it is. And everybody else is certainly adopting it, and the NCAA is throwing up their hands apparently. So until something changes, yeah, man, I think everybody's kind of going to be in this boat. The one thing I would say is it's not like Alabama. Alabama and Georgia are still going to be focusing on the best freshmen in the country because they can get those guys. They've already been getting the best freshmen in the country. They may need to cherry pick a player here or there. They went out and got Louisville's receiver and Georgia Tech's running back, but it's not like they're looting full rosters from other teams.
Right, they can't.
Yeah, now what you may end up having is you may have Florida State taking a great player from Maryland and NC State taking a great player from, as they all figure out what they're going to do with their NIL money. You may see that kind of a juggling, but I don't think you're going to see widespread a team lose 4 or 5 guys in the same year just because I don't know how many other teams are going to be out there bidding on them because the teams that have the most money are going to be investing that probably still in their freshman class. And it's not like they have huge roster turnover. So it's all going to be crazy to watch it all play out. But I really think it's hard to predict right now, either it's the end of the world or that it's going to be a great boom because it's just so early in this whole process.
Yeah, and because there doesn't seem to be any set of guidelines, rules, regulatory action in place, then, like you wake up each day and like you did probably this morning when I did, and you go, oh, Jordan Addison, he's going to leave Pitt. He's going to roll on over to USC where they're going to give him a bunch of money. Okay, so the reigning Biletnikoff Award winner has decided peace to Pitt and go to USC, and there's really nothing anybody can do about that, and that's going to happen. And, oddly enough, I would argue that in this world, Florida State's no better off than Pitt. You're not competing with somebody like Southern Cal who has Hollywood in the background and now a commitment to winning, unlike we've seen in the last 15 years. So they're going to throw around $800,000, $1 million, $2 million for a player because they can, and their alumni are dedicated to it. And that's where it's hard for us to swallow because, honestly, Florida State is not in a position to compete with that.
No, I mean, they're not. And I think that's going to be again, you from a Florida State standpoint and a lot of schools at this level, you are hoping for some sort of reconciliation and some sort of the next phase of where we get to, where there is some sort of structure in place for all this. But getting and until you get to that point, until there's even a sign that could be like right now, this sport is driving in through Texas, and there's just all you see is the horizon. There's it's not like there's a sign. It's not like there's a sign that says, "Hey, right up ahead, there's going to be regulation." I mean, it could be 5 years from now. We have no idea. So at this point, you just kind of have to get what you get and do what you can do.
It's crazy, though. That was funny. I laughed. This is an indicator for people that didn't read that story, the aforementioned Addison story. This is where I think we are all frustrated if we root for a team, any team, but especially one that is tradition-laden and has the kind of cachet that Florida State or Clemson has. If you root for a team in the ACC, you can marvel at the disparity in money made by the SEC and the ACC. And sometimes it comes to fruition in the form of a story like Addison, where a team like Kentucky offered him, nearly confirmed, $1 million to come play football at Kentucky, to which he quickly said, "No thanks, Lexington. I've got my sights on Los Angeles." But, I mean, holy moly, man. Kentucky.
And this, we know about the TV revenue. And then you look at this draft, the way it broke down. The SEC produced, 60-something picks, and the ACC produced 20-something picks.
Right.
And then the SEC schools just went and picked up, again, some of the best running back from Georgia Tech,
right,
receiver from Louisville. The Pitt kid, I don't know if it's done deal at USC. I think Alabama might try to get involved. They may poach him. And it's there was a point in time, and maybe it's a one-off in terms of the draft this year, but it doesn't feel like it. It just feels like we're going to where there's almost completely two different classes, and the ACC is not where you want to be.
Be good, brother. Talk to you real soon.
See you, man.
That's Ira Schoffel, warchant.com. I can say .com. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Deputies are searching for an inmate who escaped the Taylor County Jail Saturday. TCSO is searching for Joseph Padgett, a white male from Perry in jail on property crime and drug charges. Jail records indicate he was booked into the jail in June 2021. It's unclear how Padgett escaped. Anyone with information on where Padgett is should not approach him, deputies warned. Call 850-584-2429 or 911. 19-year-old Jakari Wesley was arrested in connection to the fatal shooting in the 1500 block of Lake Avenue that happened Friday morning. The shooting was determined to be the result of an argument about drug sales. As a result of the argument, Wesley fired multiple shots into the victim's vehicle and fled the scene. The victim, a woman, was pronounced dead on the scene. Officers observed a vehicle fleeing at a high rate of speed. Following the gunfire, initiated a high-risk traffic stop where Wesley was arrested and interviewed. During the interview, detectives developed probable cause to charge the suspect with first-degree murder. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 89. Southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows around 66. Tonight, partly cloudy. Slight chance for scattered thunderstorms. Tomorrow, high of 88. A blend of clouds and sun. Mainly sunny Wednesday with highs around 89. 91 Thursday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 86.
Crawfordville Auto and Tire. Crawfordville Auto and Tire. Oh, hey there. I was just singing the praises of Crawfordville Auto and Tire. They do just about everything. Complete engine rebuilds, brakes, shocks, tires, oil change, you name it, they do it. And they offer a 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty on all parts and labor. Most of the time, they can service your car the same day and offer towing to help you get to the shop. Now that's something to sing about. Open weekdays from 7:30 in the morning until 6 at night. Crawfordville Auto Repair and Tires.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Of 97 patients, 33 are vaccinated, and 63% are considered incidental.
See, this is what I'm upset about. He's basically made up the percentages to look like it's at 100%, but the two are not related to each other.
What's 37% of 97?
It's 35.89.
So why in the hell can't he literally ask iPhone to include that in his articles?
Maybe he's got an Android.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeffman Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
A very easy, transparent, speedy, and efficient mortgage lending process. I'm going to go see my friends Chad and Shannon. They are a duo. They are the legendary team of Hamilton Home Loans. You hear us talk about our partners at Hamilton Home Loans frequently, and for good reason. It's a different kind of mortgage with these guys, and especially when you mention the Jeff Cameron Show. So do so. Call them at 844-FSU-LOAN and say, hey, listen, Jeff Cameron Show sent me here. I'm kind of interested in getting a loan, and I want to know what makes you special. You'll see how special they are. 844-FSU-LOAN. Or you can visit on the World Wide Web there, and that would be FSUHomeLoans.com. That's FSUHomeLoans.com. Talk to Chad or Shannon. You'll be all set to go and tell them we sent you. And Hamilton Home Loans, it is. I don't know. I think the next step for us is to be able to do those segments, to have these conversations without it getting depressing. Can we do that? Are we able to do that? Are we able to get through these conversations without it getting depressing?
Yes, to one level. We talked about this between segments last hour. It's important to remember that you only get a freebie transfer one time. So if we've got somebody like Trey Benson, he's not getting poached. If he has a great season, he can't go to Alabama. He'd have to sit out a full year or graduate, complete his undergraduate studies, and then he could do it again. It's the NFL next for him. Once he goes for 1,500 all-purpose yards, that's what we need to worry about, not going to another school. So just keep in mind that you can't transfer 5 times if you want to. Can't transfer midseason. There are deadlines for these things. There's more refinement coming. Is that helping or no?
Well, we hope more refinement's coming. I don't know when it's coming, but yeah, I would think it has to. Yes, and the one-time transfer rule, which I'm in favor of. I think kids should be able to transfer one time free of penalty. Coaches have been doing it for years. Just, that's fine. I got no problem with that. But I just I do find it disheartening, a little bit disheartening, like a lot of people do, the situation we find ourselves in. But I will say again, what's good for the goose, good for the gander. I mean, we are bringing in players from other programs that are well thought of and having success with them. And I think Benson will be the next big one in that regard. That kid right there has the burst that he had prior to the injury. We saw it up close and personal. I thought he was probably the most pleasant of surprises in camp, because when you're coming off an injury like that and you hear running back, you hear knee, you think, I don't know, taking a risk there. And then you see the speed for that size and that overall ability. You get really excited. That is a different looking player at the running back position. I know you did a preview that'll come out on Warchant.com and Warchant TV, just kind of a summary of the running back group and where Florida State sits. And I went into camp thinking that, we were average at running back. I love the Trayshawn Ward story. I like what he's become. I think he is a valuable player. He's a plus player. I don't believe him to be a huge difference maker. I don't think he's all world. He's not certainly any of the caliber of players that you see that are draftable at running back in the first and second rounds each year. He's not that guy. But is he a plus player in the league, in the ACC, that is? Yeah, he is. He's also incredibly hardworking and isn't going to let people like me tell him what he can't do. So I think he'll continue to aspire to get better and better and better. Benson has a natural skill set that is a little bit more to my liking at that size at 215. To go with that speed, yes. That could be, very well could be, the next guy down the line that gets drafted most assuredly.
Yeah, as long as his medical is okay, and obviously it would stand to reason that he would have to complete a successful season here, at least one of them in Tallahassee, in order for the medical to be okay. But he's just a blend of that top end speed, where Norvell talked about it before spring practice even started, that, measuring top end, whatever it is, 20.7 miles per hour, 22 miles an hour, whatever it was. He's among the fastest players on the team at top speed.
With that size, which is surprising.
And that mean streak. He runs angry. Like, he can glide and he can bounce and use vision, but when it comes down to it, if he needs to get a yard, he can lower his shoulder, and he doesn't care to do that. He doesn't mind to do that, I should say.
Yeah. No, that's exciting. I mean, that's something that you get pumped up about. And I think for Florida State, the more we see those guys, the more, again, you got to walk before you can run. And we keep talking about, is this the year they walk? I mean, they got to, right? You cannot continue to crawl. This has to be a time now where we see they're speed walking, Tommy. They're speed walking. Look at them. They're about to run.
It's the mall. It's 5:30 in the morning. The vendors are only setting up their shops, but here come the old people for the walk.
Guys, let's go.
You can hear the swishing of the tracksuits.
That's when malls existed. Yeah, they're on their way out too, just like the rules of the NCAA. So there was all that.
That's a good running back room, though. You've got options for all situations. You got guys who like his pass catchers, short yardage, all that stuff.
I think the running back room is a perfect reflection of all things being relative. So at the start of this show, we come full circle now, right? The start of this show, I talked about when a guy is one of our best players. Remember, he's one of our best players. And one of our best players plays on a team that went 5-7, and before that, even worse. So that's a good running back room relative to what we've been. Are they an elite running back room anywhere in the SEC? No. Are they an elite running back in this conference room? An elite running back room in this conference? No, I don't think they're elite.
Trey Benson could change that.
Trey Benson could be a very good player who proves to be a capable plus player at almost anywhere in the country. So you might, at the end of this year, go, Trey Benson would play at Clemson. He would play at wherever, right? But the room's okay.
The room, okay. I would agree somewhat there. This also is a coaching staff that does an excellent job of isolating and creating favorable matchups, even if you are Florida State 2022 good, not Florida State 2013 good. You're going to be in a position against good defenses that people have heard of, that are ranked well for explosive plays, 20 and 30 yards at a time.
Now imagine if we had, listen, I won't even go so far as to say Dalvin Cook, because that's unfair. I mean, Dalvin Cook is a transcendently good runner.
And for just $99.99 a month, you too can help us get that player.
I mean, hey, we need that guy. We need that guy where you go, ooh, that'll take your breath away right there. That dude. That's what we need. Need a little bit of that guy.
Yeah. Do we need like those sad commercials? Who's the singer from the 90s that with the animals?
Sarah McLachlan.
Yeah. All right. Do we need her, with Florida State clips from 2013 and 1993 and 1999? You too can help these sad fans.
Yeah, we never.
Doak Campbell Stadium.
We never needed Sarah McLachlan. Not when she was popular. Not now. Not ever. We
for
never
just
needed
$4 a day. For just as little as $4 a day.
There was actually never a time. We never needed to hear "In the Arms of an Angel." We never needed any of that. There were plenty of college and high school girls who wept openly every time they did hear that song. I, for one, wanted to get sick, but there she is.
In the arms of the great Noles.
Cue it up, man. Let's do some probables, shall we? Let's get to.
It's time for how you say with the pitching probables.
Brought to you by North Florida Payroll Services, locally owned for nearly 15 years, offering payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding and integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today. Head to northfloridapayroll.com. Hey. I didn't get the probables up, so you all got to sit and listen to the groove.
That's right. And think about the combined no-hitter last Friday night. Yes, sir. That's 2 in 60 years.
That one doesn't really count, though.
Oh, it does. It counts.
Put it in the books. Here we go. Royals, Cardinals, 1-0 St. Louis in the 6th. Come on, Kansas City. Get it together. Zach Greinke, Steven Matz. Matz got a shutout through 6. Angels, White Sox. Tom almost doesn't believe me. You can look it up. Angels, White Sox, Patrick Sandoval, Dylan Cease. That game is in the 3rd, 2-0 White Sox. D-backs, Marlins tonight should be, I like watching that Marlins team. They're playing well. Zach Gallen and Pablo Lopez. He of the 3-0-039 Lopez family. Woo. Twins, Orioles, Chris Paddock, Tyler Wells, Yankees, Blue Jays. Damn it, Yankees lead the American League East. Mets, Yankees, Jets had a great draft. Giants had a good draft. Uh-oh, what's going on, New York?
What's next? The Knicks are going to be good?
Jordan Montgomery, Ross Stripling, Braves, Mets. Oh, the war.
There we go.
Here we go. Okay. Max Fried and Chris Bassett. I will be tuned in tonight at 7:10.
Simpson over here is asking what's the Mets' magic number because he thinks I'm getting a little too. The magic number is 48. That's Jacob deGrom's number.
Mariners, Astros, Marco Gonzalez, Jake Odorizzi. Rays, A's tonight. Drew Rasmussen, you can say it. Dalton Jeffries, that's a look at those that shall reside on the bump. I never know what I get to talking and I don't look at the board here. How much time we got?
A little under a minute.
You got bets? You got bets? Anything you like? Hockey is starting, man. I thought you'd have bets.
So, well, I mean, we didn't have a block for it today. Toronto first period over. Toronto first period over. If you can find a 1.5.
What are you coming out here giving up goals early?
This is their only shot. It's game 1 at home. This is it. This is the series tonight for them.
I like the period over. First period over.
Yeah, sure.
1.5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
First period over. Total. I don't care about Toronto. Anybody.
Great.
Combination of 2 goals.
Done. Book it.
All right. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. We will talk to you.